Did you know that a lot of the conditions that we have to live in this country can actually cause us to die earlier? This applies to every type of person in the country, but especially to black people, people of color, and poor white people. One of the reasons that it applies to a lot of African Americans is because they have picked up some of the cultural norms of the dominant culture and they don't usually build community the way that we used to during the time of segregation. And as I said, usually because I'm not talking about every black person or every African American in the world, I'm talking about many. Many have picked up that idea of individualism that has been carried all the way across the continent of Europe to England and then across the seas here to the United States, where it was exacerbated sometimes as people went out to the West to be pioneers. This idea of being a rugged, strong individual has been chewed up and swallowed by everybody in this country. And so we find ourselves depending on truth and justice and love and fairness, not from a large extended family, but from ourselves, from our community, from something called success or achievement. And so we have replaced love, kindness, community with the ability to attain things outside of ourselves. When we can't attain these things outside of ourselves, we experience lives full of stress, full of being pressed down and oppressed, and having to try to shape ourselves like round pegs trying to fit into a square hole so we can get this success, so we can work in the dominant culture, so we can get rid of all of the beliefs that we have had in the past and the ones that we have picked up through tradition from our parents and grandparents. And only by doing this do we really seem to fit into the world in which we find ourselves in a way that is happy and fulfilling on the surface. The problem is, in reality, it's not happy and fulfilling because our culture is one that is a disaster. It is full of individualism, full of pain, and full of suffering, full of needing to look outside of ourselves for gratitude and love when it all exists within us and it all blossoms within our families, in our communities, among friends. But we can live now in a community and not even know our neighbors. Go outside of the community to make friends and to keep friends, fearing that if we know our neighbors, when they have a need, they'll call upon us to help them fulfill it. And we'll feel guilty if we don't do that. And so we avoid the necessity of loving our neighbor by not knowing our neighbor, which kills us all, which raises the amount of stress for us all, makes us unable to talk about all of the confrontations that we run into each and every day. How our businesses don't prosper as well if we are black. Something we never really talk about because we're not allowed to talk about that. We're supposed to be strong individuals, working in order to create a better world by ourselves. But at the same time, cultures who don't believe in that come into this country and they begin to work hard together, starting businesses, and become strong economic blocks while we sit here holding on to a European culture and failing. It's time for us to change that if we want to live long lives and lives of quality. We have to get rid of that. Go back to our roots. Go back to the understanding of what it means to be community, not just to talk about it or to say, oh, I love you when we're around, but to be around, to be available all the time, to work together, grow together, prosper together, create a means to prosper for those who are unable to do so, and to let go of those who don't want to do so without hating them or putting them down, to make ourselves look better. This is our world. These are our lives, and it is up to us to create the life that we want when it comes to quality of life. One need not always have a lot of quantity to have quality. And that is the thing that we all have to realize as we start this coming year full of gratitude and creating the quality of life that we all want. Thanks for hearing me. Love being with you. I hope your Thanksgiving was great, and I hope all the holidays will be great and will also give every one of us a push to creating real community, living the way human beings were meant to live, instead of living like cats or mountain lions, roaming all around in large areas and only meeting together when it's time to mate and breed. We are not animals like cats are, or like lone wolves. We are animals, beings who live together, work together, love together, and reach new heights, as long as we remember to do that.